This video is made for adult collectors because something Green Goblin's glider.
I was doing a pretty decent cleanup yesterday, just like moving things around and getting things organized and whatnot, and somehow I've managed to misplace the barrel to G1 Megatron. I don't know where I put it, and it's bothering me because this is expensive and it's gone. It's somewhere in the rest of the mess that's still here, but I don't know where it is.
I'm a bit tired of Soundwave being a flying rectangle thing. Yeah, it only happened like a couple times, but it's still the most nothing of nothing alt modes. That's not this figure's fault because he was like that in the movie. What this figure is at fault at though is some of the strange choices. Soundwave's design in TF1 wasn't my favorite. I don't think it was a bad design, but it wasn't a standout for me. And this figure just kind of cements that fact in my head. It does look spot on though. Like they got the on-screen proportions right with his broad upper torso, skinny limbs, and small head. This was purchased at Robot Kingdom. Here's the box, not sponsored. Soundwave in the film doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of movement, save for the bit where he, spoiler alert, fights Optimus at the end, but the articulation is the thing I find that's, well, the word lacking isn't probably the one I would use, but I can't think of anything else, so I'm going to use it. Lacking. I'll get more into how far each joint goes later, but certain parts feel a wee bit limited, like the knees and the ankles and the hips specifically. I do like the shade of blue they chose. It and the dark gray really helps that Games Workshop gray not stand out as bad. It makes it feel like it fits and less like they just didn't want to spend money to paint it. He's pretty clean all around, with the only alt mode kibble standing out being the very obvious wings and the legs, but even then, it's not bad because they fold up and fit in line with the rest of the body. It's just you can visually see them. I like the addition of the silver lining on the shins and the silver on the crotch to mimic the play buttons his G1 design had. The hips do sit a little bit low. It's to help the thighs move more, even though they don't go out a bit, but that's, well, spoilers. There are just two sticks coming out of the crotch here. I wish they had some form of detail on the front because they just kind of stick out visually and look weird. Okay, enough staring at Soundwave's PP. I adore the deco on the chest. The way they did the yellow trim, it's a slightly different shade of yellow on the outside than it is on the inside because yellow is hard to paint match and they're painted on different materials. However, the unintentional effect it has here I think works pretty well. It is a clear insert by the way too, so there's no risk of any of the hinges here breaking. Also, yes, you can open the chest like a traditional Soundwave, but he doesn't have any minions in the movie, so he doesn't come with any. Well, that and he's a deluxe. There is some light paint chipping along the edges of the chest here, but this did accidentally take a dive off my desk onto the hardwood floor face down, so I'm assuming that's what caused that. I put Bumblebee on my desk and knocked Soundwave and he fell and went splat on the floor. There is some nice detail on the back, though I wish it was painted. I think this is that like nylon palm stuff they use, so the paint that they have doesn't adhere to it properly, but it would have been nice if this had some color. The speakers on the shoulders though, that's a nice touch. He doesn't really come with anything. No, that's a lie. I just lied straight to your face. He comes with the shoulder cannon, which can separate into two parts, but there's nothing for him to really do. In the movie, he doesn't use any guns or jetpacks, so it makes sense that he doesn't come with any weapons for him to hold, but the figure feels kind of naked without it. Decent size though. Him being skinny and tall makes him seem pretty well sized on his own. Stack him up with Megatron and the Seeker though, and he fits pretty well with him, even if he's a little shorter than Megatron, which surprised me. I thought he was taller. Yeah, I didn't keep Starscream because I was just unsatisfied with that. I'm keeping Thundercracker though because he looks better to me. The articulation is pretty fine, but some ranges are strange. The head is on a ball joint. You get some slight tilt, you do get rotation, and then due to the plate it sits on, he can look up a little bit and down pretty far. The shoulders have a bit of a butterfly to them, and they're on ball joints, so they can rotate a full 360 and go in and out. There is bicep rotation, just shy of 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Someone asked me if they feel like snapping, and I mean, mine don't. They feel fine. I can bend them all the way without issue. There is a teeny tiny tab in here that clicks the elbow into place when bent. If you're worried, you could just sand that down, I guess. Wrist rotation. Using the transformation joint, there is an ab crunch. He does have a waist joint, and then here's where the limitations come into play. Due to their sculpting, the hips only go forward about this far. The sculpting at the top of the thighs catches on the hip section. Going back is the same story. There is some nice in and out motion above the knee rotation, about, I want to say 65 degrees of bend at the knee because of his mighty calves. It's kind of stinky. Ball joints at the ankles that provide swivel, and then like the tiniest amount of tilt, and then a toe bend. I really wish the lower legs articulated better. The upper body is mostly fine, but the hips, knees, and ankles are a little more limited than I would like. Transformation is certainly unique, but that's because the alt mode is unique. Unique in the sense that I think it looks kind of bad, but whatever, let's just get him there. So, hang on, where'd I put the box? Where did it go? Oh, found it. You know how when Hasbro posts a stock image of their product, it always looks terrible.
And then in hand, it's usually better. Usually. This is one of those rare instances where I think it's the other way around, where it looked better in the stock photos than it does in person. And I'm specifically talking about the alt mode, because that looks nice. That looks like a pretty good slab of nothing. When you get it into the alt mode, it doesn't, I don't know, something about it just doesn't have the same sort of visual magic as this. It's really hard to explain, but I'll show you. So to get there, it's honestly pretty simple. One thing I do want to mention before we transform this though, is these don't lock in at all. These bits, they just sort of move, so that can be a little annoying when you're messing with it and all of a sudden the panels have come off. I wish they clipped into place, but the first thing we're going to do is actually remove the cannon and split it in half, because we'll need that later. Then you want to open the wrists up, fold the hands in and close them. Do that on both sides, and then you want to rotate the arms 180 degrees and then just leave them down to the side like this. Then you want to open the chest up and then take this entire assembly and pull it out like that. Once you've done that, you want to get your fingernail in here and push this front section out, and then fold the head in, close this up, and shift it so it's flat. Then you take the arms and you bring them up 180 degrees and they'll rotate in, and they have these little tabs that will go in. They don't look like slots, but they are slots for the tabs themselves. So you bring this around and it will clip into place there. Bring this around, it will clip into place. And once you get all that done, you want to then take the arms and just sort of like press them up against the top of this bit here. Now we're going to work on the legs. So you want to bring this section back right here and then bring it forward and around, so that it sort of eats the crotch. Then you take the legs, bring them out, you rotate the thighs 180 degrees. You take the feet, you rotate them in and you fold this up. You take this foot, rotate this in, fold this up. Now, this bit of detail on the back of the leg is, if we bring the box back, part of the front of the ship thing. It's even in the movie, that's like his speakers. But instead, they just sort of sit there and then it's the feet that are the front, but nothing really changes. I wish they'd sculpted this into the bottom of the feet. But once you bring this around, it's going to tab into here and into the arm. So you bring the leg down and peg it together like that. And it's gonna line up on an angle. So you do that again on this side, bring it around, peg it in. It can be a little bit annoying to try and get everything lined up. Once you get that all lined up, you're left with this sort of brick. But you want to take the wings here and you want to bring them out like this on both sides. And then you want to take, this one's a little loose. You want to take this bit at the bottom here, bring that out, rotate this forward, and it will flip around. And that sort of holds the wings in place, so it's no longer floppy. And then you take the guns and you peg them into the side here and here to give them his alt mode cannons. And there you have the slab. And like, it doesn't, I don't know, something about it, like if you fold this out like it has it on the box art, if I put them next to each other, something about it just doesn't quite feel as nice looking as this. It might also be the colors, because the colors are darker here than they are on this. But it's just like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
That's a pancake with wings. It looks weird. The thing just looks odd. I would stick a Green Goblin on top of here, but I don't have one at the moment. I want the regular Marvel Legends one that's coming out, but I'm waiting for the price to drop. I only really pay full price for Transformers, and that's because it's my job. Hasbro, please make like a partner program or something. That'd be great. I do like how they added like tail wings to sort of spice things up a bit on the alt mode. It makes it look less like the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, who, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want one again. I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of that figure, but part of me just kind of wants it again. Next TFCon. Yes, I know the TFCon video still isn't out yet. There's lots of like real life stuff happening that's getting in the way. But the alt mode, while it's built nice, there are a lot of gaps. Now, the ones down here don't really bother me that much. It's the massive one at the side that does. I don't know, I just wish there was like a panel to fill that in, or if they thickened something up to fit. I don't know, I'm not an engineer. I just buy this shit and talk about it online for people to watch. I do like how the cannon store though, that's pretty neat. And it's a decently sized alt mode. But in the end, I'm not 100% satisfied with this thing. It's nice to have, and I will be keeping it, but it's something I would recommend waiting for a sale. Well, I mean, that's true for most Transformers, or really any luxury non-essential item nowadays. Transformers, Marvel Legends, McFarlane, DC, Lego, etc. Just wait for sales. Let's bring sales back. Come on, 15% off is nothing. Give me like a Black Friday 40 or something like that. Anyways, Soundwave, cool, but has some jank. If you're a huge Soundwave fan, then yeah, I would recommend picking it up. It fits the Soundwave motif, but like as a playable figure, I think it could have maybe used a little bit more work. But that's my look at TF1 Deluxe Soundwave. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.